Buccaneers 29-28 on a last-second field goal to kick off Week 15 of the NFL season. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
This is Viewpoint, a presentation of the News and Public Affairs Department of AM 1490 WHPP. We welcome your input on the issues of the day. You can contact us on the Viewpoint line by calling 875-1490. The opinions expressed by our callers and guests do not necessarily management and staff of AM 1490 WHPP.
Yep.
And now, here's today's Viewpoint.
And good morning and welcome into the Friday morning Viewpoint for this Friday morning, December 12th, 2025. I'm your host, Randy Williams. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments. Ouch. I'm saying ouch for the microphone I just tapped, huh? If you have comments or questions, you can also join us live on YouTube on the selmapostherald.com YouTube channel. And if you have problems getting there, go to selmapostherald.com and on the homepage and scroll down a few stories down, and you will see the WHBB logo and also a link that says the live stream for Viewpoint. How do you feel this morning? In fact, what I'll do, because I'm speaking off of the top of my head, I'm going to pull it up so I can tell you exactly what it says and exactly what's going on here. Now, in the meantime, while I'm pulling this up, so yesterday, this has been my week of doctor's appointments. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday in Montgomery at Baptist South and the one earlier in at Vaughn, just to check part of my annual checkup, and I got a clean bill of health. That's the good news. The other good news is the tremendous customer service and professionalism and friendliness at both actually Baptist South and Vaughn Regional here in Selma. That really gives me confidence. But I tell you, yesterday I started thinking about the school that's being built in Demopolis, the new health care facility to train high school students to be able to start entering and preparing for the medical profession. And I could really see not just the great potential, the continued need. Oh, man. I mean, these guys had all kinds of state-of-the-art equipment that someone has to know how to operate and how to do it right. All kinds of medical advancements are being made, and they were right on top of it. I'm telling you, and there was a lot of different departments, and they were very, very, very organized. And it was a good mixture of age groups that were working, ethnic groups, gender, you name it. And they had everything. And everybody was working. Everybody had a good attitude. I didn't see any, and there was nobody that was rude, and so all of that matters. To me, it makes a real big difference. Customer service. I keep stressing that. And I know a lot of people recognize and understand that it is an issue. And I'm hearing that there's some movements underway in Selma to try and address that. I hope so, because it's all about being customer friendly. And so when we got people coming here from all over the world, and if we want them to come back or we want them to spend money in Selma, then it starts with being hospitable, and that's not too hard to do. I know there are folks that some people find it difficult to even smile, and some folks don't even know how to say good morning or good afternoon or hello without it being a real issue or a real problem. But that's a personal thing. And if you don't know, if you haven't learned how to smile and how to relax and how to be sociable, then the 9 times out of 10 that means there's something going on within the individual, and that's something that you got to figure out between you and the Lord. If you believe in the Lord, now all of us don't believe in God. that's that's a personal decision too. We don't believe in the Lord until something happens, and then we say, "Oh, Jesus." I say, "What are you doing calling on Jesus? I thought you didn't believe in Jesus." Well, I do when I'm in trouble. But that's another story. Let's see here. We got a couple of things. I guess I really want to start with my theme this week has been volunteerism and the importance of volunteerism. Uh, people talk a lot of stuff. We talk a lot of trash. Now there's nothing wrong with having a regular 9 to 5 job and going home and relaxing and watching TV and enjoying your family and that kind of thing. That's fine. But if you're going to complain and attack and be negative, the glass is half empty, then do something. And the best way to do it is through volunteerism. Well, the Salvation Army they've put out a call. They said we need volunteers for the 2025 Red Kettle campaign. They have locations set up at Walmarts. The Walmart here in Selma and Demopolis. You can contact Suzette Bogan at 601-572-6076. Now, for years, Chief Allen would head up the local volunteer drive. And matter of fact, I ran into Chief Allen. I guess it's been about a week or two ago, and he was pushing volunteers then, and so it's a good thing. Madam Butterfly and Joan Friday's name were brought up earlier this week, but Madam Butterfly I believe she was in her 90s when she passed away, but she was active all the way to the end. She would call on a regular basis. She was a regular caller before I took over this show, and her and Larry Morris would go at it. The late Larry Morris, and but see, the thing about Madam Butterfly was she was civically involved. And I can remember having gone to a few events that she was a part of in the local schools to plant gardens, flowers for butterflies. And remember, it was largely through her efforts and her lobbying in Montgomery that Selma got the designation as the butterfly capital. And so civic engagement. So she didn't just talk. She got out and worked and put boots on the ground. And the same thing with Ms. Friday, the late Joan Friday. They were one of a kind. But the mold was broken after there was only one Madam Butterfly and only one Joan Friday. And there have been several people who have participated on this show over the years. Many of them have passed on, and some have moved, and it takes a special person to be accepted. These ladies were ladies. I can't ever remember them saying an unkind word about any person on a personal level. They never got personal. It was always about trying to do what was best for the city and county. And so they were jewels. And you know, you don't get that level of participation that often. But now, and that's why it's nothing wrong with, like I say, with this show. We have ups and downs in terms of the number of people that call. And usually the calls pick up when there's really something negative. Now, if it's, let something happen, something controversial, well, please don't let somebody get caught doing something wrong. You know, the phones will light up then, right? A lot of times. But the other thing is, a lot of people just like to listen, and everybody doesn't like to expose themselves, because we do have callers that will attack, you know, and you also have people who are listening, and they don't want to jeopardize, as they've said to me, their jobs because of their viewpoint. You know, many of us have not learned how to be broad-minded and or to how to tolerate another viewpoint. We want to make people see it the way we see it. That doesn't happen like that. You know, the art of persuasion is an art, and that always puts me in the mind of Dr. King, because he was able to persuade people of all backgrounds, all kinds of religious backgrounds and racial backgrounds, and he had a gift with bringing people together and not being divisive. But he was also a minister, and that's what ministers should do, right? So, you know, and he did it well. And there are others, you know, I think about Thurgood Marshall, but Thurgood Marshall was an attorney. Thurgood Marshall said you can march all day and protest all night. If you don't change the law, you haven't gotten anything done. You're just talking trash. You're talking loud, saying nothing. You have to change what? Policy. You know, the lawmakers are charged with developing policy, and the kind of policy that ensures that we have a safe and prosperous community. You know, and so, and with that being said, see, again, you know, I do take a lot of these events that happen kind of personal, because I've been out there a long time and worked with a lot of different kinds of people. And there's a news story out that has come out within the last several hours, and I'm going to get into in just a moment. But first, let me lighten it up and do something real positive and go down the street to Cornerstone. Jewel, how are you this morning?
I don't want to see. We have 310 Barrett Road, just the nicest house, the wonderful house, the kitchen, everything is new. It's got 2 ovens, brand new. It's got a built-in microwave, got a wonderful refrigerator, farm sink, granite countertops. It's just really, really a nice house. There are bonus rooms there. There's plenty of storage. So give us a call at about 310 Barrett Road and ask your agent to show it to you, or call one of us there at Cornerstone. I've got 508 Hampton Road is like new. It's 179,000. Has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Everything is like new. 700 Roundtree is a special home. If you know anything about Roundtree and you live there on that lake, you can go fishing anytime you want to. You will have a membership there. It is a really neat open floor plan. It's got a metal roof. It's made hardy board and vinyl trim. And you know, they call this a smart house. And I don't know much about smart houses, but I know that this is a good one. And it's only $192,500. So give us a call or your favorite agent on that. I believe that's Kent Woodruff's listing. We've got an investor special that is 1108 First Avenue. This is a large home. It does need some cosmetic repairs, and it has an extra lot next to it, and it's only $49,000. So call us today. Just want to put in a plug for my church. Has a live nativity scene next Sunday night, not this Sunday night, but December 21st. And we've never had a live nativity, but you can come by and drive through. You don't even have to get out of your car.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier also because I was given an announcement on it, and I don't know if I've seen a drive-through nativity scene. How's that going to work?
Well, it's going to work very well. We have an organization that Doug Durden, who is a state trooper. He's got us a traffic plan, and we're going to come around there, and you will see the children and teens in this nativity scene. We will be out there to give you a cup of hot chocolate. And, Randy, it's something that we don't think about. There's this time of year, some people get really down, missing the ones that are gone or the tragic things that may have happened in their family. We're going to have somebody, if you feel like you want to get out of the line and pull over to the side, we have somebody who will pray with you. Now, this is something that's new. We've never had a live nativity scene, so we're excited about that.
It sounds exciting. That really sounds exciting,
It is. I'd be love for you to come down.
I plan to. I'm going to try my best. If nothing else gets in my way.
I believe that's from 5 to 7.
Yes, ma'am. That's from 5 until 7.
Right. And then also the Selma Dallas County Historic Preservation Society has only 2 more days of their holiday house. And if you don't go to the holiday house, you'll be missing out because they have really lots of things that you could get for Christmas gifts or just little gifts, reminders to give somebody. They have wonderful pimento and cheese, chicken salad, and you'll have only 2 more days to get in on that.
Well, my theme this week I've touched on a lot has been volunteerism, and what you're mentioning, the nativity scene, in the holiday house. These things would not be possible if you didn't have volunteers helping to make these things happen.
You're right, trying to make this town better and trying to make the season better. So we are excited about this. We have our cantata. I told George, I keep begging our choir director, which we have our cantata this Sunday night, and food afterwards with food fellowship there. I keep asking for a solo, and he said, you just better stick to trying to sell houses. I do love it, and just like I love selling houses. 872-0441 or come by 519 Lauderdale Street. And I'm gonna bring y'all some more cans of cookies.
Well, you keep up the good work, Jewel. Keep on doing it.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right. All right. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And if we didn't have people volunteering in the church, what do you think the choirs? They're not being paid to sing. The choir people are volunteering their time to participate in the choirs, to go and to rehearse and to show up on the Sundays that they're required to say. Those are volunteers making a difference. And I could just probably go down a whole list of functions and events that take place. But at the end of the day, all of these nonprofit organizations exist because of volunteers. The Rotary Club, that's a volunteer organization, you know? And so, and look at a lot of the good work that they do. So, you know, I've zeroed in on it because I have become sensitized to criticism. And usually, if you look close enough, the main complainers and the main criticizers won't lift a finger to help anyone else. Many times, not all the time. Every once in a while, you may run up on somebody that complains and volunteers at the same time. And then they're usually complaining while they're volunteering. So that is, as they say, is the nature of the beast. But I've got my patience has run out with that kind of thing. You know, because of all the issues that we are faced with. I think it's really important that we appreciate people who volunteer, who share their time, give of themselves, you know, unselfishly. I could just go down a whole, and you can too, when you think about some of the things that that go on, none of which would be possible without community volunteerism. They give of their time and their energy, and the church, nonprofit organizations. Now, here's a negative example of what happens, though. Excuse me. This is a negative, you know, and that's why it's difficult to get folks sometimes to support a lot of these initiatives and you know all of that black talk from Black Lives Matters founders and co-founders. Well, now, well, we you know, this is a new person. This is another person that's being that's been identified, because there's been other accusations since Black Lives Matter was founded of theft of money. Well, here we go again. The executive director of Black Lives Matter Oklahoma City has been charged with wire fraud and money laundering after federal prosecutors say that she diverted more than $3.15 million in returned bail checks into her personal bank accounts over a 5-year period, according to an indictment that was unsealed on yesterday. 52-year-old Tashella Cherie Amore Dickerson of Oklahoma City is accused of routing money intended for the group's bail fund and social justice programs into accounts that she controlled between June of 2020 and October of 2025. The indictment says Dickerson used the money for her personal benefit, including travel to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, tens of thousands of dollars in retail shopping in stores, more than $50,000 in food deliveries, a vehicle, and 6 real properties. According to the Department of Justice press release covering the indictment, Black Lives Matter Oklahoma City raised more than $5.6 million beginning in 2020, including grants from the Community Justice Exchange, the Massachusetts Bail Fund, and the Minnesota Freedom Fund. In Minnesota, where they just uncovered the billions of dollars of fraud. There's too much of that going on. But when these type things, although innocent until proven guilty, but many times, not all the time, but many times where there's smoke, there's fire. And I remember a couple of years ago, one of the main founders of Black Lives Matter was accused of using the money uh, to buy expensive condominiums in property, I think $1 million facility outside of Los Angeles. And so when that happens, this is what undermines people's trust in groups. And, it speaks a lot to what these organizations are really about, that you have to really be careful and sift through who's for real and who's not. And, when they get a little bit too sensitive about scrutiny and transparency, that is an automatic red flag. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more right after after these messages.
Doctor, don't know what to do or where to go? Whether you need urgent care, primary care, or even family care, Primary Health Solutions is there for you at 913 Medical Center Parkway, right down from the Vaughan Regional Hospital. You don't need an appointment, just walk in or call 334-418-6700. Dr. Tyler Goins and nurse practitioners Thad Wood and Megan Crane will get you in, evaluate your symptoms, and prescribe the right treatment to get you well soon. Primary Health Solutions, Medical Center Parkway, Selma.
Meadows Tire and Automotive is a local family-owned company that takes pride in taking care of your tire and automotive service needs. Whether it's your car, truck, camper, RV, trailer, or more, we've got you covered. See us first at 2897 Citizens Parkway in Selma. For better service, quality, selection, and more, we've got them. Come see us. Our deals you won't believe. Meadows Tire and Automotive, where service matters most. Call or text us at 334-875-7276 and online at meadowstire.com.
Good morning, I'm Jed Davis. Here's what's happening in the news on this Friday. Montgomery's minor league baseball team has new owners. On-Tech Partners bought the Biscuits. The new owners say you can expect to see the same family-friendly environment with even more energy and support for behind the scenes. Back in June, the Biscuits signed a lease renewal with Riverwalk Stadium to stay through 2040. An annual tradition returns to Montgomery, the Capital City Christmas Parade. They'll roll at 6 p.m. down historic Dexter Avenue. If you can't make it in person, we'll broadcast it live tonight on WSFA 12 News. And Prattville's Christmas Parade also happening this evening. That'll get started at 7 at the Autauga County Courthouse. Today is our 12th Day of Giving. It's year 26 for the holiday event. We'll be at the Renfro's Market off Chantilly Parkway until 6:30 tonight, collecting food, monetary donations, and toys for the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, Christmas Clearinghouse, and Toys for Tots. That's your news on this Friday.
1490 WHBB. Speaking of volunteers, the East Dallas District Choir, made up of volunteers, having their 4th annual Christmas concert at Mount Arad Baptist Church, 120 Division Street, and we are invited for that 4th annual Christmas concert, and that will be Sunday, December the 21st. That's the Sunday before Christmas. And the East Dallas District Choir, boy, you talk about sounding like angels. And so, that is going to be on the 21st at 3 o'clock, Sunday, December 21st at 3 o'clock, the East Dallas District Choir at Mount Arad Missionary Baptist Church. As for Reverend Dr. C.B. Scott is the pastor, and the moderator, the Reverend Carl Lewis. I saw Reverend Carl Lewis about a week or two ago. We ran into each other, and both of us almost didn't recognize the other because we were bundled up. But it was good seeing Brother Lewis, and and so so the East Dallas District with their 4th annual Christmas concert. That should be really nice, right? Let's take another break, and I'll be back with more right after these messages.
Retires. The answer is the country. What happens to the retired dentist who wants to stay active? Easy answer. He opens up Dirt Road Dentist. Many of you already know Dr. Ron Robertson as the downtown dentist in Prattville. He's in the country now, just north of Toggerville on County Road 13. And while he's enjoying the great Autauga County outdoors, he's still taking care of old patients and looking for new ones. Dr. Ron is now able to provide more affordable dental procedures with compassionate, country-friendly care. For sure, Dr. Ron takes care of the pain, so when he yanks out that wisdom tooth, you won't scream and scare off the deer. Dirt Road Dentist is only about 25 minutes from Selma and 15 minutes from Prattville. Follow him on Facebook or phone 334-365-2238. We'll get you in and out in a hurry, unless you want to chat about deer plots or crappie fishing. Dr. Ron Robertson, the Dirt Road Dentist, 387 County Road 13 in Toggerville. Most insurance welcome.
How's your circulation? Do you suffer from fatigue, leg cramp, weakness, or pain in your legs when walking? Do you often have to stop and rest before you can continue? If so, you could be suffering from PAD, peripheral artery disease, blockages in your circulatory system. It may be time for you or your doctor to get in touch with Alabama Vascular Specialists. AVS is growing and serving our area with the most advanced vascular surgery and treatment available today. Dr. Ralph Redd, Dr. Erwin White Giddens, and Dr. Richard Tan are changing lives for the better when it comes to the vascular health of their patients. Other factors include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, and high cholesterol, all big contributors to poor circulation and vascular problems. Not to mention family history. AVS can help put you on the road to recovery. Offices in Montgomery and Selma. Call 334-801-9952 and online at alabamavascularspecialist.com. We're with Thomas Reeves at the Central Alabama Farmers Co-op. Got something new for food plot prep.
The co-op's your one-stop shop for anything you need to plant those plots. This year, we'll be carrying WMS seed, the Alabama blend, the SEC blend, and Deer Magnet, Southern Buck, Super Buck, 8-way blend, our Buck Busters mixes, and our 3-way wheat, oats, and rye. We'll also have all the individual seeds, planting wheat, planting oats, clovers, anything you need to plant those food plots.
All here at the Farmers Co-op store. Everybody's welcome at the co-op.
Is your business protected against cyber attacks, viruses, malware, or ransomware? How much would it cost your business to be shut down for a couple of days if one of these attacks were to happen and you lost all of your customer and billing data? One of the worst cyber attacks right now is ransomware, which literally holds all of your files for a large ransom. And these attackers are wanting big money to unlock your files, from $5,000 to $10,000 and much more. These ransoms also have to be paid by Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, a very difficult task in and of itself. If you're not prepared, you could be looking at several days of lost time and wages, along with the frustration for yourself, your employees, and your customers. With the right plan in place, the risk of your business experiencing such an attack can be greatly minimized by protecting your network, computers, and servers, along with a comprehensive backup plan. Computer and Data Network Services has the tools and the experience to custom tailor a solution that call us today for an appointment to discuss what we can do for you. Call us at 334-874-8324. That's 334-874-8324.
Yep.
Good morning, I'm Jed Davis. Here's what's happening in the news on this Friday. Montgomery's minor league baseball team has new owners. On-Tech Partners bought the Biscuits. The new owners say you can expect to see the same family-friendly environment with even more energy and support from behind the scenes. Back in June, the Biscuits signed a lease renewal with Riverwalk Stadium to stay through 2040. An annual tradition returns to Montgomery, the Capital City Christmas Parade. They'll roll at 6 p.m. down historic Dexter Avenue. If you can't make it in person, we'll broadcast it live tonight on WSFA 12 News. And Prattville's Christmas Parade also happening this evening. That'll get started at 7 at the Autauga County Courthouse. Today is our 12th Day of Giving. It's year 26 for the holiday event. We'll be at the Renfro's Market off Chantilly Parkway until 6:30 tonight, collecting food, monetary donations, and toys for the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, Christmas Clearinghouse, and Toys for Tots. That's the news on this Friday.
1490 WHBB. Let me give you an update. This is from Councilman Clay Carmichael. And what I appreciate about it is he has given an update on these projects, some of the projects that will impact traffic. You know, there's nothing more frustrating for me than to go down the street, and then out of the clear blue sky, the street is closed, roadblocks. I've had no warning. There's been no information about a street closure, and so you can't plan. And but if I was in a situation where I had to be somewhere by a certain time, and my job depended on it, and all that kind of stuff, and I know that happens to a lot of folks. And then you go to the way you normally go to work, the street's closed. So you got to plan a detour that may take you 10, 15, 20 minutes out the way, when that could have been avoided had you known, or had it been communicated to the public. So Councilman Clay Carmichael has issued a few updates. He says that work begins to repair a collapsed sewer line on the corner of Furnace and Union Street. That was earlier this week. I think the day I was offering yesterday. And so the work started this week, and the line has caused recent backups at the intersection of Furnace and Union Streets. Please expect intermittent road closures, and be aware that the intersection may be impassable at times over the next several days to a week. I appreciate a heads up, and knowing that at the intersection of Furnace and Union Street, there's going to be some work, and the roads may close in that area from time to time for the next several days up to a week. It's good to know. Also, the FEMA sidewalk project restoration in the tornado impact zone is near completion. He says Henry Brick will be installing brick pavers this month to match the existing sidewalks and maintain the historic look of the area. I'm always glad to see local businesses benefit in some way and do business in Selma and Dallas County. The businesses, our business community supports a lot of ventures. Henry Brick is another one of those companies that has been a good corporate, that's corporate friendly. And they do a lot of goodwill. And so that's what it's about. Construction on Mabry Street will continue through the holidays. Road closures, I'm putting emphasis on that, because far too many times, roads are closed and nobody knows it. The media doesn't even know. I don't know whose responsibility that is. But even when I go to Montgomery, and I don't have to go always. I can listen to some of the stations that reach us here and hear about a road closure because it's been issued and sent to the media so that the people will know, the general public will know. Everybody doesn't do Facebook. And so be advised. What I like about what he says here is road closures will occur between Alabama Avenue and Dallas Avenue. So please plan your travel accordingly. Thank you, Councilman Carmichael, for communicating to the public the possible road closures that are going to take place near Furnace and Union Street and between Alabama and Dallas Avenue. So we can be aware of that. So when it pops up, if you can remember that you can plan how you're going to move around, how you're going to travel. And so that's really important. Those are the basics, folks. That's what I call the basics of public relations. But that's another story. Also, Ward 3 will be having a community meeting at the Arsenal Place Accelerator at 22 Church Street on next Thursday, December the 18th 5 p.m. They'll be joined by Council President Kennard Randolph and Mayor Johnny Moss III to meet with residents, share updates, and hear your concerns. Pizza will be provided. All Ward 3 residents are encouraged to attend. And that's, that I really can appreciate that. And like I said, we've got a lot of work that's going on, it looks like, in some areas throughout Selma. And it's nice to have a heads up when the street, and I mean, this has happened with me anyway, personally, over the last couple of weeks on a regular basis. I was headed somewhere in a hurry, and I said, "What? The street is closed." So now somebody said, "Oh, yeah, he's being unreasonable and he's criticizing." No. That's somebody's job, or should be, to notify the public when a street is going to be closed for any length of time. It's just good basic public relations. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more right after this.
We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on these 25s that you got left.
That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, I encourage you to come down, get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming. So we got to make room for whatever your transportation needs are. We can take care of them right here and let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars to trucks to SUV. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Mm-hmm.
And is that fifth oil change still free?
Always free. Not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma.
Reliable, where they
1490 WHBB. Let me remind us to shop local for as much as we can to support the city of Selma's revenues and help our local businesses thrive. Our downtown merchants have gone out of the way this year with the festive storefront showdown. I'll tell you what, Queen City Market, man, that's a wonderful display on their front and their window. And South Hall, the museum on the corner of Selma Avenue and Broad Street, across from the library. Wonderful, beautiful Christmas adornments in display. Beautiful, and so I just want to make sure I gave them a plug. You know what I mean? Take a stroll downtown and see what's going on before it gets freezing cold. Today and tomorrow will be good days for that, and then next week, a couple of days, it may be cold, but we'll just have to bundle up, right? And pick up a downtown passport from any participating retailer. If you collect 14 stamps by December 20th, you'll be entered to win a $300 gift certificate to your favorite downtown shop. That's pretty good, huh? And of course, we don't want to forget about the 47th annual holiday, another fundraiser for the Selma Dallas County Historic Preservation Society. And can't say enough about what they do to try and help preserve Selma's history in buildings and educate the community, educate the public about Selma. And also the Holiday House Kitchen has delicious homemade food. All of this at Miss Minnie Sue's Cottage, 622 McLeod Avenue. We've got 2 more days, 8:30 to 5:30. Well, 9 now, 9 to 5:30, 9 a.m. to 5:30. We've got today and tomorrow are the last days. They have wonderful, wonderful gift items. And so I certainly want to encourage us to participate in that. A couple other things. The Center for Nonviolence, Truth, and Reconciliation is going to have a clothing giveaway. The 10th annual Martin Luther King Day clothing giveaway on January 19th next year. But of course, in order for them to be able to do that, they need donations. Donate clothing, donate gently used clothing, shirts, blouses, sweaters, suits, jeans, pants, and all types of coats. And the drop-off is at their headquarters at 8 Mulberry Road, Monday through Thursday, from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. For more information, you can call them at 334-526-4539. It's 334-526-4539. Next week, by the way, Tuesday, we have scheduled Mr. Charles Malden coming in from the National Voting Rights Museum. I think he may do Zoom. We're going to Zoom him in. And then Ms. Sherry Suttles is scheduled to be in studio with us on Tuesday, next Tuesday, to talk about the upcoming Jubilee. They have started their, well, not planning, but they've started making the announcements about what they're going to do this upcoming year for the Jubilee. And as you know, I'm 200% pro-tourism. So anything that I can do to help facilitate helping get the word out about any event that is going to attract people to Selma is what I'm all about. And many other people are as well. There's a lot of people working to improve our city. Some of us don't just talk, some of us work. Unfortunately, as biblical scripture says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So that's all I can say. Things that make me go, Now, there's some other things coming up that I need to tell you about. We got the Nutcracker tonight, the Nutcracker Ballet. Boy, that's interesting, right? Well, yeah, you have some major cities that don't get the Nutcracker. So here we are. We got the Nutcracker tonight at the Wallace Community College. To Montgomery Ballet, Montgomery Ballet is an excellent company. I remember several years ago, who did we bring? Was it Alvin Ailey? I think it was the Alvin Ailey dance troupe out of New York that came at the School of Discovery, in fact. And Godfrey King called me because, he knew about my theatrical background. And so we had to because the professional dance companies are very specific about the requirements they have in order to perform. And one of them is they have to have a certain type floor. And we did not have that kind of a floor anywhere in Selma, but the Montgomery Ballet was kind enough to lend us theirs. They have a portable dance studio, not studio, but floor. It's made out of a special material, and it has to be put down correctly, because the dancers could trip and hurt themselves if it's not done right. And that's another reason why they can't just dance on any kind of a floor. And so when I hear about the Montgomery Ballet, I remember that they were very gracious in lending to Selma their dance floor. That's significant. You don't just lend your dance floor out. you know. So now they're bringing the Nutcracker, a classic Christmas show, and that is going to be tonight, this evening, 6 p.m. And there's a 5 p.m. Reception. Tickets are available at the Montgomery Ballet's website. And so we certainly want to encourage you to be supportive and to participate. I didn't mention. I meant to mention the Five and Dime downtown. AC Reeves. That's another wonderful, beautiful window display, but that's year round there. She keeps something going at the Five and Dime, and so and I think they are going to be finishing up AC Reeves' year of auspicious baking and cooking, and so that should be interesting. Also, Reflections Coffee Shop has a lot of 12-day of Christmas specials, and they've got something special coming up next month in January. I want to get that in front of me. I don't want to give you. I want to make sure I say it right and not chop it up, huh? But I do know that they have something really special coming up in January. Jackie and Tommy and company, have been very productive and positive, and a wonderful, another asset in our community. And so I'll be giving you more details about that particular program. And I know I don't have to tell you about the Community Outreach Missionary Organization, Miss Arlene Petway, in the wonderful work that she and her husband and their organization does. And of course, the annual Senior Citizens Carnival coming up on Saturday, December 20th. The doors open at 9. This is at Wallace Community College Gymnasium. That's always a wonderful event. The key is you got to be 65, though, to get in. If you're under 65, sorry, Charlie. And IDs will be checked. So make sure you have some identification to prove that you're 65 years or older. Tickets are $20, T-shirts are $10, and you can contact Ms. Petway at 334-412-1478. Now, we got a couple of other things that are going to be taking place this weekend, and I'll get into that in the 9 o'clock hour after the news from Fox. And then I can get into the rest of these. There's a lot of things going on as we're in the holiday season. And many of these events are organized by and supported by volunteers, folks making a difference in their community. But they don't take a lot of time. They don't really even ask for it. They don't even get the credit. You know what I mean? They work quietly, many of them, behind the scenes, and sometimes not so behind the scenes. But let me take this opportunity to thank, if you're a volunteer in your church, what about the Thanksgiving dinners that were given away? Those were volunteers distributing those dinners. I'll tell you what, let's get ready for Fox News up next on WHBB Selma. It is 9 o'clock.
He remains free, out of ICE custody. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the most infamous deportee during the Trump illegal immigration crackdown.
I come here today with so much hope, and I thank God, who has been with me since the start with my family.
He said that through a translator before going into a Baltimore ICE office for a check-in and allowed to walk out and go home in Maryland.
Federal Judge Paula Zinnes in Maryland issued a temporary restraining order against ICE, rearresting Kilmar Abrego Garcia at his check-in with immigration officials this morning. She'd ordered him released from ICE custody Thursday after finding there never was a proper order of removal for him, and after deciding that the federal government misrepresented the willingness of Costa Rica to take him in. Immigration officials wrongfully deported him to El Salvador this year, then brought him back. He's since been charged with human smuggling in Tennessee, but ICE has said they're looking for a third country now to deport him to.
Well, that's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The U.S. could escalate the operations off the coast of Venezuela, where for months the military's blown up boats said to be carrying narco-terrorist smuggling drugs. Then came a seized oil tanker this week that Venezuela calls theft and piracy.
President Trump has been using bolder rhetoric regarding Venezuela. Earlier this week, when talking with Politico, he did not rule out the possibility of sending troops to the country. And now there are reports the administration could seize more oil tankers. The Treasury Department has sanctioned 6 companies and their ships, accusing them of engaging in deceptive shipping practices while continuing to provide financial resources for Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The department is also sanctioning 3 nephews of Maduro's wife and a businessman closely connected to Maduro.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Rivers could keep rising in Washington state, where some areas got 20 inches of rain, triggering massive floods.
I just want to emphasize that if you have instructions to evacuate from your local authorities, please, please, please evacuate.
Governor Bob Ferguson, some people needed to be rescued. The National Guard helping. America's listening to Fox News.
This is the time of year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it. Guaranteed or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code PECK. Terms apply.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ahead of the next holiday travel rush, the government is clarifying rules for airlines dealing with some issues that could lead to flight disruptions.
The Department of Transportation tells airlines they don't have to cover passenger expenses such as meals or hotel stays when flight cancellations or long delays are caused by aircraft recalls. The update follows the major Thanksgiving travel disruptions tied to urgent inspections and software fixes on about 6,000 Airbus planes after a JetBlue flight's sudden altitude drop was linked to a coding glitch. In the U.S., airlines must provide full refunds for canceled flights, but are not required to cover extra expenses, even if the delay is their fault. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
Turning to Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is up another 128 points today after surging to a record high close. The NASDAQ, though, it's down another 136 points. The S&P 500 is losing 20. The price of oil is barely moving. It's down at about 20 cents. Still $57 a barrel. Gas has dropped a penny today. AAA's national average for regular $2.93 a gallon is 14 cents down from a month ago, almost a dime cheaper than the price a year ago today. Lindsey Vonn is back on top after a long time off the ski slopes.
41-year-old American skiing legend Lindsey Vonn, who was retired for 5 years, put the titanium implants in her right knee to the test Friday when she competed in the World Cup downhill in Switzerland. Vonn became the oldest alpine skier to win a cup race. her first Cup victory since 2018. Vaughn said, I felt good this summer, but I wasn't sure how fast I was. I guess I know now how fast I am. In February, the three-time Olympic medalist will compete for the United States at the Winter Games in Italy. Jared Max, Fox News.
On Thursday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a last-second field goal, 29-28. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Your 1490 WHBB weekend weather. Lots of sunshine and mild temperatures today. We'll top out in the mid-60s with a light breeze, down to only 45 with some clouds moving in tonight. Another beautiful sunny day tomorrow and seasonably warm, mid to upper 60s, but by afternoon, a 20% chance of showers works its way. That'll be a 50% chance of showers tomorrow night, with a low near 40. Sunday, things start to change. Will be cloudy early, but gradually clearing up. The temperatures dropping and falling throughout the day to around 35 degrees by 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon. North wind gusty too, with about 25-mile-an-hour gusts. Clear and very cold, down to 20 Sunday night. Monday being quite chilly with a high of only 45. That's your weather from WHBB.
1490. WHBB Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Hey, take me out there for a minute.
I can't.
Are you back?
You have to call me back the next commercial break. Okay, all right. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And let's see here. There's some other things happening this weekend that you need to know about. I'll tell you what, Santa Claus and the Grinch are pretty busy. People these days. And they're going to be doing some things this weekend. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Yes, turn your radio down just a little bit. Okay, that's perfect. What's on your mind this morning? Hello? Yeah, Viewpoint. You got an echo. That's because your radio is up.
Okay, this is Reverend Bowen.
Hey, Reverend Bowen, how are you?
I'm blessed. I'm standing with a group of young men that's having a barbecue here across from Chat Academy. I'm excited every time I see some young men doing some positive things.
And that's, Chat Academy is now R.B. Hudson, right?
Exactly. Right across, down the street from R.B. Hudson. And they got barbecue, they got barbecue chicken, they got catfish, and they fire up the grill. And they're here, they're doing some positive things, man. I'm excited.
You must be trying to make me hungry this morning, man.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, the march is still on the 19th of January as we celebrate Dr. King life and legacy. We do every year. This is our 26th year of the march. So anyone would like to get involved with us, you can reach it at 334-505-1723 and be a part of what's happening. Bless God, because a lot of positive things that's happening in the city of Summer. We have a lot of positive young people that's doing positive things, just like this group right here. They come together, I think it's twice a month, and they have barbecue, they have cookout, they have fellowship with each other, and this is wonderful.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad you called too, because my theme this week has been I've been focusing in on volunteerism. You have folks out there that all they do is complain and talk about folk and don't do anything to help the community. And
Randy, we are part of that. We're down with the district attorney. We are down with our judge, our circuit court, district judge, Vanetta Perkins Walker. We are down with people doing positive things.
And that's how we control changing the narrative through what we do.
Exactly. I'm here with, I call these guys my sons. I'm here with Gary. I'm here with all of them standing right here in the block. Right here in the block.
Do they have an organization, or do they just come together informally?
You don't have an organization. You have a name on live radio. What do you call yourself?
The Turning Point. Okay, now where exactly are they? What you're on some, not Summerfield Road, but Boynton and what?
Boynton, right on the corner of Boynton by the school.
By Selma University or by R.B. Hudson?
Right at RB Hudson, right on the corner.
Okay, all right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, brother. Anytime.
Yes, sir. We'll have to have you come in sometime.
Yeah, so we all the positive side of something, right? That's the side we on. We excited what's happening.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the midst of all this madness and craziness that the other side is talking about, there's a bunch of young people doing some positive things. Of course, you just spent women to tell them right here in the block, and they just cook out every 2 weeks, you know.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. You got to hook us up. Yeah, bring them in with you sometime.
Okay, I do just that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I got some other folks trying to get through, but we're going to have you come back in soon. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, you're on the air.
Good morning, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm just happy to be up in the mind.
Well, good. What's going on?
This is basically worse, man. I know Councilman Coleman earlier about some street. We were up here on North Broad, doing some resurfacing, and we are asking the public if they could try to find another area to come through until we get the resurfacing. They did the scraping yesterday, and they're getting ready to right top this morning. So they give us about 3 to 5 hours. We should be finished.
So now, where are they going to be doing the work, and is there a detour or what?
We can go down 22 like they're going to Birmingham, Woodrow, they go back around, or they can take the street down to Dawson and go out and come back around. We're right here behind Roundtree and down to the Lane. That's the area where we're working at. That's the section of the.
I'm so glad you let us know. Because people, man, when they're traveling, they need to know, what to expect with something like that, especially.
Yeah.
Thank you. How things going for you?
Hey man, I'm just happy. I just had a birthday last month, so the Lord blessed me to see another year. I'm 17 years old, and y'all can count that around. Exactly how we
Well, you're still a young man. I know that's right. Yep. Do you don't have any plans of leaving the position anytime, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Well, good. I hope not, because you have done an excellent job, and you do an excellent job with Public Works.
Look, we just try to do what we do and keep everything moving and try to keep the city moving and try to inform everybody about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we just need the help from the public to try to help us. Stop putting so much garbage stuff on the ground and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, man. What do you think? What makes a person throw fast food trash out the window?
If I could answer that question, I probably would.
You'd be a rich man.
I probably would be, yeah.
Wait, billionaire.
Well, that would be something that we can not only package and sell, but we can take it from Selma to every other area in the country,
I know that's right. It's crazy. I don't know what that is, man. It's really I don't know.
I think some of it don't brand and we need to take pride.
At the end of the day, yes, sir.
Pride in where you live, around the areas where if you want something beautiful, you got to work it. You can't depend on other people to do it. You got to do it yourself. I was just on the meeting last night, and I was telling them
anything is around my area, in my yard, I get up and pick it up and put it on my garbage. So you know somebody else on about. But if you see something, take a picture of it, tell the people, get it to the police department, so they can start, we gotta start finding people. I'm serious, because as long as we keep picking it up and they don't get any
no consequences, huh?
consequences from it, then they're gonna continue to do what they do, you know, because they feel like somebody else will clean it up, you know, somebody else, I don't have to be accountable, somebody else gonna do it, you know. So I'm just like pleading with the community, let's start doing better, we're better than this, you know.
Yes, sir, no doubt, no doubt. Well, thank you so much. And again, the North Broad Street, that's approximately where will the resurfacing begin and end?
It was just right behind Roundtree and was in at the Lane Street.
So how far is that from the Valley Grande city limit?
Oh, that's a long way. We're right here behind Roundtree. I mean, we're not even crossing on Woodrow.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you come to Mr. Roy's, go behind Mr. Roy's, like you're going back to Woodrow.
Right.
The fire station, or to the school.
Oh, now it's McRae's now, huh?
Yeah, it's going to McRae's. Yeah, we're on this street here.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Mr. Hicks. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa.
And I hope your girlfriend bring you the biggest present that you ever had that you'll enjoy on Christmas this year.
Don't say that too loud. I'd be on the lookout for that. I'd be afraid. I might be scared of that. Let me stop. Well, thank you. And have a safe one as well. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to take this break now. And the caller, sometimes I can't always recognize who I'm talking to on the phone in the studio, but I'm going to take this break. And whoever that was calling, that wanted me to stop and go off the air, I'm going to answer your phone call now during this commercial break.
Graves on Broad has a Christmas present to you. Come in to the beautifully decorated Graves on Broad furniture store in Selma and take advantage of 30% savings on all furniture, 15% off on lazy boy recliners, mattresses, and appliances. There's 12-month interest-free financing, and Miss Lisa and Miss Margaret would love to help you find just what you're looking for. Great at 514 Broad Street is Selma.
Mm-hmm.
We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on these 25s that you got left.
That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, I encourage you to come down. Get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming. So we got to make money. Whatever your transportation needs are, we can take care of them right here. And let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars to trucks to SUV. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama, right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
And is that fifth oil change still free?
Always free. Not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma.
Reliable, where they truly have it all. Shop and save when you shop at Dave's, where there are a whole lot of good specials this week. For example, basted turkey breast are $1.89 a pound. 1 pound pack of Ziegler bologna at $2.87. 10-pound bag of Fryer leg quarters, $5.26. 4-pound bag of Dixie Crystal sugar, $3.13. And the 2-count package of Pillsbury pie shells, $2.67. Just a few examples of why we always say shop and save when you shop with Dave. Dave's Market, Highway 22, Valley Grant.
Good morning, I'm Jed Davis. Here's what's happening in the news on this Friday. Montgomery's minor league baseball team has new owners. OnTech Partners bought the Biscuits. The new owners say you can expect to see the same family-friendly environment with even more energy and support from behind the scenes. Back in June, the Biscuits signed a lease renewal with Riverwalk Stadium to stay through 2040. An annual tradition returns to Montgomery, the Capital City Christmas Parade. Will roll at 6 p.m. down historic Dexter Avenue. If you can't make it in person, we'll broadcast it live tonight on WSFA 12 News. And Prattville's Christmas Parade also happening this evening. That'll get us started at 7 at the Watauga County Courthouse. Today is our 12th Day of Giving. It's year 26 for the holiday event. We'll be at the Renfro's Market off Chantilly Parkway until 6:30 tonight, collecting food, monetary donations, and toys for the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, Christmas Clearinghouse, and Toys for Tots. That's your news.
1490, excuse me, WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning. And one of the reasons why I mentioned what I had done yesterday and Wednesday in terms of having my part of my annual checkup is to encourage other people to do the same. A couple of years ago, I did the UAB heart study. And, you know, they do a very thorough check on just about every area of our physical health. And I became aware I was moving in the wrong direction. I'll put it to you like that. And as a result of having gone through my contact with UAB, I ended up getting a primary care physician. And I'm doing annual checkups. I got my, getting my blood pressure is normal. I mean, it's a lot, but I've always tried to exercise, but exercise and diet and just being aware and staying on top of our health is really important. It is an issue that has been neglected by many, including myself. And so, but once I became aware of how, I won't say simple, because sometimes it does involve sacrifice. But the main thing, the biggest point I believe is that we are aware. We need to know where we are and try and take the necessary steps to be healthy. Your health is something that is priceless. There are people that are wealthy that can't buy their health because it's not possible. So if you have your health, reasonable health and strength, value it and work to maintain it. And I believe that, it's good that the Lord has put all of these different assets on earth for a reason, including doctors and nurses and the healthcare professionals and the pharmaceuticals and the insurance companies. It's a lot of tools the Lord has put at our disposal, but we have to have enough common sense to know how to use them. And, find a personal physician that you trust, a dentist. These things are really, at the end of the day, can make a big difference in terms of quality of life, and it's in this area, we have a reputation for having, at one point, we were the fattest county in America. One of the most of the healthiest counties in the United States. I believe that's changing. That trend is reversing, and have to give some of that credit goes to UAB also, because they have come in and have been a real force behind educating the community about health issues. And I noticed I saw the Housing Authority's food truck earlier this week. That's a new development, because of these food deserts. The food trucks can come into a neighborhood and make available fruits and vegetables and other items that you may or may not have access to that are affordable. So that's another good thing. Hats off to the Selma Housing Authority for that. And I was at a meeting, I guess it was last year, because they were doing food trucks in Birmingham. There was a ministerial alliance with UAB again in Birmingham that was having a lot of success with food trucks, and that's another good thing. So all these issues, we got a lot of issues. Many of these things we can solve, we can do something about. It's all about attitude, and granted, I am a self-described optimist, and have been accused of by people. Some of the folks that know me, oh, you're too optimistic. You too positive. I don't think so. I'm not going to sit and drown in my misery. You know what I mean? And feel sorry for myself and try to bring somebody else down. Spend my time bringing other folks down. That's not my style. I'd much rather be working on solutions and figuring out how we can get to where we need to get to. Speaking of which, so we've got two buildings that are becoming. One is already an eyesore, and the second is suggesting that Selma's closed for business. And I'm talking about the Tepper's building and the St. James Hotel. Now, we know the Tepper's building has tremendous potential if any real money in architectural planning or plans were developed to be able to really make that thing work. It will be a good place as an anchor for downtown. And I had this conversation yesterday with a person that will remain anonymous at this point. And we were talking about how many positive things are really happening in Selma and Dallas County, but how important our downtown area is. And it's beginning to really spruce up and look good. I'll be glad when the Interpretive Center is finished. That's going to be a real plus. Water Avenue is our Beale Street. Beale Street, as in Memphis, is Beale Street. It really looks more like New Orleans, or has the potential, to have a New Orleans style a look to it. But the St. James, I don't know what we're going to do about that. I hope that the plans that were talked about to build a convention center, state-of-the-art convention center and hotel. I hope that materializes, and there's no reason why the St. James can't be a part of that. We need more rooms. That's the key behind the conventions. When these organizations plan a convention, is that you've got to have enough hotel rooms to accommodate. And we need more hotel space. And then the other thing is, I really miss the old National Guard Armory, because it was the one place that was large enough to be able to accommodate first-class entertainment. If you have enough people, then you can afford to pay, because they don't come for free. There's not a whole lot of Asher Havans around. He's homegrown, and so he provided some first class entertainment for Selma, And I guess if the amphitheater hadn't been open space, I don't know if there would have been anywhere big enough to accommodate a concert like that. That's my point. And so we need something that can hold at least 5,000 people, folks. Why not? You know what I mean? You know, we're a historic city. We're a tourist destination, you know, and there's a lot of people that would love to spend more time in Selma, but we've got to have something to offer, you know, and we're not going to get there overnight, but, you know, you have to crawl before you walk. We need to be at least thinking forward. I remember when I was practicing Kiakito, one of the exercises that our sensei, and he was Japanese, by the way. I was he Korean? He was Asian. I'll put it to you like that. But one of the exercises at the dojo that our sensei would do is he says, we want you to fall down and try to get back up. You know, you're standing straight up, and then you fall backwards. But the first time you can't get up. I couldn't, none of us could. So then he says, all right, this time I want you to fall down backwards. But when you get ready to try and get up, think forward. Think forward. And when we did that, we all got back up. So in other words, we have to think forward. Without vision, the people perish for the lack of vision. You know, and so vision is what it's all about. You got to see it first before you can get there, or to translate into so secular terms, you've got to plan it. Plan your work and work your plan. Montgomery planned their work, and now they've got a baseball team and stadium, and what don't they have down at the riverfront in Montgomery? That didn't exist 20 years ago, but they planned it, and they did Vision 2010, and they made it happen, and it's happening. It's still developing. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Hey, Randy, how you doing this morning?
I'm fine. How are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. You know, what they don't have over Montgomery is a safe place to walk.
Yeah. Why?
Besides the hall, but if you can't, if you're not safe, walk around it. It does you no good. But you were talking about falling down and getting back up. I was servicing a tractor yesterday, and the older I get, the more I get down on the ground,
the harder it is to get up. Yes, sir.
I used to kind of laugh at my father-in-law. You know, he'd turn over and get on his knees and grab something and pull up. I'm doing the same thing.
I used to laugh at my father when he started grunting. I'm not laughing now.
Oh no. I want to ask you about I was listening to Gavin Newsom yesterday. Why is the Democratic Party in love with homosexuality, LGBTQ, and transgenderism, and the rights for sin? Because all that is sin. And why are they pushing that? Why are they all for it? And how is we as Southerners down there, conservative, most of us, even if we're Democrat, why do we promote? Why do we side with that? I mean, why aren't we telling the leaders, no, that's not biblical, it's not right, it's sin. We're not going to support a party that pushes that agenda, and they do it openly and they do it nationally.
That's a good question. I ask myself the same question. I don't know how they're getting away with it. And I do know that you have people in the LGBTQ community who are they're very strategic, who are strategically placed in positions of authority. And they tend to focus and zero in on entertainment and finance. So they're in the banks and they're in Hollywood. And that's a bad combination.
But we've got people here, you got folks that call your radio show that are 100% Democrat and going to support any Democratic candidate. But by doing that, they're supporting a lifestyle of homosexuality, of transgender, and that's a transgender. There's no such thing as transgender. Trans means change, and you can't change what God made you. So they put that name on it, transgender, but you can't change your gender. So the whole name of it is a fallacy. But one of they will fight you tooth and nail, supporting the Democratic Party. That they're all for this country, they're all for this, that, and the other. They clearly support abortion, unfettered abortion, which has killed, the largest amount of percentage of people that go have abortions are blacks, and they're killing generations of people. How do you support that? Just look past it.
I'll take it a step further. How can you support nationally? Well, look at the mayor in Chicago, the black mayor in Chicago, who says crime is not a problem in Chicago, or the governor of Illinois that says Chicago doesn't have a crime problem. Now, we're going to forget about the fact that 20 or 30 people were just shot and 10 or 15 just died. We're going to close our eyes to that. And we're not going to create policies where we enforce not releasing violent criminals back out on the street. We do just the opposite. If you commit murder or attempted murder, well, that's the card. We'll let you back out in 24 hours. That's crazy.
And the other thing, it was asinine, but the other thing was that young man who killed Charlie Kirk. We're going to spend millions of dollars putting him in prison when we know he's guilty. He already admitted to it. He admitted it to his pervy transsexual boyfriend. I don't understand all that. Why are we spending all this time and money? Why do people? I don't understand why it's such a news story.
Well, not just him. What about the guy that killed the United Healthcare CEO? How do you justify that?
Well, the women think he's good looking.
That's crazy.
It goes back to the conservative our system of now I can't even think, Randy. It goes back to that people who have money are evil, and we need socialism. We need to all be the same. And where socialism doesn't work in any country in the world, but we're going to push for it because now it basically comes down to we're sheep, Randy. We believe everything the news tells us, and if they push, and every station has the same game,
the same story, saying the same narrative. They're really anti-conservative. And I'll throw one more thing in there. What they seem to be, they're supporting. They're critical of this administration because they don't want it to succeed. Number one, so it doesn't matter if they have mounted an effective war on drugs. Let's not do that. Let's protect both of those admitted murderers of Charlie Kirk and the healthcare president. They look at what they don't show him in chains. We don't want him in prison garb because the public's opinion, it may affect a fair trial. And like you said, he's already admitted that he's done it. So we're going topsy-turvy. Everything is turned up on its head.
Fox News even calls it that he's just accused of it. He's not.
They're still saying alleged. Yeah. Well, and Fox is not what it was. There's still one or two anchors on Fox that are still on point and on mission. But Fox News is not the same Fox News of even 5 years ago.
conservative, they're not conservative. They're all sawing us into, look, Trump is, what most people don't realize as being a businessman, most people don't realize how currency works, how the world works, and all this debt and what motivates. Our value is selling debt. It's not producing anything, and we were a producing country. And that's what he's trying to get us back to. Your worth is what you produce. And I'm really scared about this AI and what it's going to do and how it's going to take away people's desire to work and do better.
And think. Well, it may even stop us from thinking before it's over.
Well, hey, look, it's a beautiful day outside, and had a new baby calf last night.
Oh, good. Congratulations. You're a father, huh?
Well, it's I got 2 more to go, and but they're going to wait for the coldest night. But anyway, you're going to come out sometime soon.
Do you deliver them yourself? I mean, you sit there and pull them out and all that.
I have done that, but the key I have found is you get a low birth weight bull so that the calves are smaller and they're not as much. You don't have as much trouble. But yeah, I have told them.
What kind of weight when they're born? How much do they typically, on average, you think, do they weigh?
Well, if I'm working with a low birth weight bull, 60 to 70 pounds, but I've seen them go up to 90.
Goodness. Gosh.
Anyway, I'd rather have a smaller calf starting and the mamas have an easy time
Do you keep up with what's happening with us locally in terms of agriculture and cattle farming, and how are we doing?
Well, I was watching a report this morning in the 70s with inflation and the numbers lined up. The cows were actually higher priced, but the numbers in the country right now are the lowest it's been in 40 years.
Oh, for cattle. Wow.
Which, puts us at risk. It puts us at risk going forward, but I think it's all strategically planned to make us dependent on Brazil since they have such huge herds down there. They don't want farmers to make money. And, it seems ludicrous. Even Bill Gates is saying he's returned his focus back off of cows. If you don't have these farmers out here, and the average farmer, the average cow herd is only like 42 cows. That's an average.
Wow.
Small producers. So,
that's interesting. Well, what do you think about the what is it, the $11 billion, $12 billion bailout that President Trump has proposed, or he's making available to farmers in distress?
I think that's money for row crop, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of it is. That's right. Yes, sir.
But I don't understand the cause and effect, but China knew what they were doing by canceling orders. They knew it was back up over here. That's the reason that we had to change our stance a little bit and go a little easier on them so they would buy soybeans. But if we do not keep the American farmer healthy, we're in trouble. We can't eat. And fertilizer, God gracious, fertilizer is so expensive and everything's got put out. But there's a turn back to regenerative farming, and I've seen it. We're starting to do some of it. I'm starting to do some of it where I'm instead of having a grass pasture, growing a summer annual to feed cattle.
Yeah, you're doing timber and cattle at the same time.
No. Raising different food sources. Summer annual, planting something like sorghum Sudan or something that's fast growing. And then feed the winter annual, putting out ryegrass and different things to be able to utilize the pasture land year round. we have a toilet and trying to be smart about it.
So does wiregrass grows year round?
Okay. You know, and then we just, I don't know, we just try to do it a little differently.
No, that makes sense. I mean, and I understand it also keeps keep the cattle healthier and, put weight on them. And if you need to sell the cattle, you can sell them at a good price.
That's right. That's right. So we, God gave us dominion over them, and we got to take care of them. So, but anyway, look, you have a wonderful day. I got to get back to work.
Yes, sir. Be careful out there. Enjoy yourself. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I had a gentleman. He's passed away. He was one of the black farmers that had gotten the black farmer money. And I don't want to. I'm not going to go into any details, but I helped him. But to make a long story short, and afterwards, the last thing that we were getting ready to work on, and I became aware of, the USDA has programs designed to cultivate new farmers, and the younger the better, because as the caller just pointed out, you don't have farmers, you can't eat. The farmers, that's how we eat. And so the USDA though had I'm sure they still have it. They had programs where they will train and teach the next crop of farmers. And we were getting ready to launch a program to try and get young people involved in kind of what he just described. The only difference was this guy. He had tons of acres of timber, and he had also figured out a way to feed his cattle to make them healthy. And he was kind of like, it was a self-contained farming strategy where he really didn't have to buy a lot of feed because he was growing the feed, and the cows would eat would graze in the pasture, and that kept them fed. And he had, water irrigated into the area, to make a long story short. And so there's a lot of opportunities that exist that we are not necessarily taking advantage of. And that takes time, that takes work, teaching the work ethic. And, our young people need to understand that in this day of instant gratification, where do they and how will they learn patience? And how do people today learn that, many times, more often than not, if you have a project or if you have a goal, that it doesn't happen overnight. But we are used to instantaneous gratification. And I believe many of us have lost sight of the value of patience. And that's what leads to being frustrated. And I met a young lady yesterday, a nurse, and she said she's moving to California. I said, oh, no. She's moving out. Her and her fiance are getting ready to get married. But what they're doing is going to make sense. And they'll be in a rural area for a couple of years, and they're going to come back to Alabama and build a new home. But I told her, we were talking. I said, yeah, well, the first thing I do when I go places if I have to do something is pack my patience. And that way I don't get frustrated. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Hey, Randy, I'm calling to invite people to look carefully at, remember Isaac Hayes, but Isaac Hayes Jr. is the one who has set up a fan-based system for investment for people who feel that. Remember earlier this week I mentioned that we got a deficit in things for the right kind of information that's being disseminated throughout the news outlets. And I guess with the closing, I had a invitation to join Fox News, and I immediately realized that I'm not going to sign up for their information, because I always been erroneous. I remember in our times I would take many of my family here. Ron Martin, remember when he was here? And talked with him for a minute about what had happened with the school choice legislation that was passed, not from just Milwaukee, but it moved on throughout the country. So there's many things that many of us have served in our communities, wherever we have lived. You're talking about even when you lived in other areas and how you were doing volunteers. So have many of us. So you're not talking to people who are not familiar with having to go out and push your sleeves up and do a lot of things. What happened to the chorus this year, Randy?
Which one?
You know, we used to have a Christmas chorus.
You're talking about it, the one that was at First Baptist, I guess that would be Cornerstone?
Yeah, that Cornerstone. Did they have one this year?
I'm not sure. I'm sure they I don't know that they have stopped it. You know, I just haven't gotten an announcement on it.
Okay, I know many of us who participated. I haven't talked to Regina lately, but Regina and her mother-in-law, and it was just Samantha. It was a lot of us who were involved throughout the years. So I was just wondering if that's still going.
Well, you know, Mount Ararat is going to have a Christmas. The East Dallas District Choir is going to be performing on Sunday, December 21st at 3 at Mount Ararat Missionary Baptist Church, and so I know that's one. Remedial Perkins. You mean you're talking about the interdenominational choir?
It was always fun. Because many years I would come and go to the program if I were here, and I never did join the choir because I did, lost my voice. I thought I could sing.
Well, she was a talented director. She was an awesome, dynamic, talented director, and she knew how to pull those voices together.
I remember when we were in school, I believe, because we were always meet at Morning Star. You remember, it always the rehearsal used to be at Morning Star. But at the same time, simultaneously, Dr. Reese would direct the chorus.
Well, he was also an awesome. A lot of people don't realize that he knew what he was doing. he was a bona fide conductor. Yeah, that's right.
Man, our parents, to be in Dallas County, we had some smart parents if we really look at it. Brandon, also, one other thing that I thought about that you spoke about. You said your mother had served in politics in Philadelphia.
She was the first black woman to run for office in North Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. So what was her name?
Doris Williams.
Doris what?
What's my last name? Williams. That's it.
So they were married. Your dad and mama were married.
Yes. Well, in fact, I still have I have one of the flyers that that they were passing out because she ran with the first black state senator. Alden Spector had her on his ticket, which was really an honor because he was another guy that was really, really, really awesome. And so they ran together. She won the primary, but got into a runoff and lost the runoff.
Yeah, I said, Brandon, I said, there's no other political figure, and I wanted to find out more about it. So thank you for sharing that, Doris Williams. Okay, thank you.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to put some of that online. I've been thinking about it here recently. I may just do that. Thank you for calling, and thank you for asking. Let's take this last break. I'll be back with more right after this.
Tire and Automotive is your undercar specialist. From the latest and best tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle running great, we can get you out on the road quick and at an affordable price. See us at 2897 Citizens Parkway in Selma. Service, quality, selection, and more. We've got them. Come see them. Our deals you won't believe them. Meadows Tire and Automotive. Call or text us at 334-875-7276. Check us out online at meadowstire.com.
Don't wait another day.
Don't wait to get sick. Your vaccination destinations are Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy at Dave's Market. Get the flu and pneumonia vaccines now before flu season arrives. And if you haven't had the shingles vaccine, now is the time. And you can get all of the vaccines at any of our convenient locations. If you haven't heard, the prescription laws have changed in Alabama, which now allows local pharmacies to be even more competitive with the national chains, meeting requirements of those insurance companies. If you had to give up your local pharmacy for a big box store, now is the time to come back home to your locally owned pharmacy. Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy inside Dave's Market. Locally owned with pharmacists that know you by name, caring for you and about you, all a part of the Brown Drug family of locally owned pharmacies.
We're with Thomas Reeves at the Co-op store. Let's not forget about sporting goods.
Yes, sir. If you haven't come and check out the sporting goods department in a while, you sure need to. We're fully stocked. Guns and ammo in all shapes and sizes, different caliber rifles for hunting, shotguns for bird hunting. We've got pistols. If you're into reloading your own bullets, we've got reloading supplies. We've got all the little knickknacks for hunting, scent killer, flashlights, backpacks, anything you need to get.
1490 WHBB. The caller made me think about my mother. My mother used to, she did a couple of things. One of them was she would teach inner city youth piano lessons and music lessons. She taught music, not just piano, but just the basic, the basics of music. And also she would take the neighborhood kids to the recreational parks in Philly. What was it? Willow Park, similar to Six Flags over Georgia, the equivalent of a Six Flags. And so she would take the children into the zoo. She would take neighborhood children on buses, and I'm talking about the big buses, on like with the equivalent of the tour buses, and take them to expose them to things outside of the neighborhood, outside of the ghetto, if you will. And so you'd have to, if you find anything on her, you'd have to go into the 60s. I'll never forget when Sidney Poitier came and he filmed The Lost Man. He wanted to use our house, and my mother would not let she wouldn't let him. We got mad with her because, she said she wasn't ready. She hadn't had enough time to be presentable in the way that she would want it. And so they used our neighbor's house next door. But anyway, I have a lot of different memories, good memories from that time. We got a night with Santa coming up on tomorrow from 5 until 7 at the Valley Grand Walking Trail. Church Street United Methodist Church having a Santa Claus breakfast tomorrow from 9:30 until 11. Of course, the Men of Christmas Parade. Line up 9, parade starts at 10. Santa's Shining Stars brunch tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Rustic Bowls. And of course, the infamous toy giveaway, the Edmond Knights at the Edmond Knights Bullock Community Center from 9 until 12. You have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. I'll see you Sunday morning, God willing, for gospel at 9:30ish. And then Monday morning for the Great Awakening and Viewpoint starting at 6. Be safe. Watch the weather. Sunday, the weather's going to change. It's going to get cold. And during the day, the temperature is going to start going down. And we're going to be in the teens Sunday night into Monday morning. So be mindful of that. I'll see you the next time. Stay tuned for Fox News coming up next on WHBB Selma. Fox News is next. It is 10 o'clock.
But after a judge-free killer Abrego Garcia, she makes sure he remains free. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I stand before you as a free man, and I want you to remember me this way, with my head held up high.
That was Abrego Garcia through a translator before going into an ICE office in Baltimore a few hours ago. And as Fox's Jessica Rosenthal